Let's bring in right now former Treasury official and Morning Joe economic analyst Steve Ratner. Steve, you're looking at how Donald Trump's policies would do more harm to the states that support him the most. But before we get there, I do want to talk about taxes. And let's be very clear here. So Donald Trump and Kamala Harris both want to raise taxes. Kamala Harris is talking about actually raising taxes on corporations and the wealthiest of Americans. She's talking about, though, giving a big tax cut, big tax credit to small business owners that will benefit entrepreneurs. Donald Trump, as the Wall Street Journal editorial page said months ago, Donald Trump has proposed the biggest tax increases in this election through the form of tariffs. And who do tariffs hurt? They hurt consumers. They hurt middle-class Americans. They don't hurt the rich. They hurt consumers. They hurt middle-class Americans who can't afford the Trump tariff tax that they're going to get hit with.
Yeah, the Trump tariffs are, as you say, are actually a huge tax increase. It would cost the average American family something like $1,600 a year. And even worse than that, it would affect the people at the bottom in terms of the percentage income that they would lose more than the people at the top. So it's what we call regressive, favoring the rich over the poor, as well as Sam said and many other people have said, raising inflation and really having a negative impact on the economy. But I think there were two things about Harris's announcement yesterday that are worth pointing out. The first is that unlike Trump, who seems to make policy kind of on the fly, wherever he is, IVF, we're going to pay for it, we may not pay for it, whatever, she's actually starting to come out with very detailed plans on housing, on taxes, on small business, and so forth. And so she's running a campaign with policy, unlike the former president, except for these off-the-cuff kinds of things. And secondly, her proposal would increase taxes on the wealthy, unlike Trump's, which would decrease taxes on the wealthy, try to get people to pay their fair share, and try to take a stab at addressing our deficit, which you and I have talked a lot about. Trump has no plan for that. And what you saw yesterday for Harris is the beginning of a plan for that.
Good. Let's talk about the first chart, blue states pay.
So generally speaking, what I think most people don't understand is that if you look at sort of who gets and who gives among the states, you're going to find that the blue states give a lot more to Washington than they get from Washington, which is ironic, given that you have a Republican president who, in effect, wants to reduce the disadvantage that the red states have and increase it for the blue states. But let's take a look at this chart. So if you look at the net of what people pay versus what they get, you see at the far end of the spectrum are all blue states. They pay more to Washington than they get from Washington. And if you look over here on the right, you'll see these are almost all red states, with the exception of Virginia and Maryland, which are kind of special cases because they have so much federal installations and military and so forth in their states. And so this is what you see happening. Most of this happens on the revenue side. Residents of blue states earn a lot more than residents of red states, so they pay a lot more in taxes, roughly $3,000 a year per capita difference between the blue states and the red states, but they don't get back anymore.
So, Steve, that's fascinating. So what you're saying is there's income redistribution here.
Well, exactly.
The income redistribution is coming from blue states, and it is benefiting the very people that go around yammering about socialism all the time when they are the beneficiaries of income redistribution from blue states to red states. So if anybody is benefiting from a, quote, socialist redistribution scheme, how fascinating, it's mainly red states.
Joe, you said it better than I said. The blue states are wealthier than the red states. And so in our system, where we try to make people more equal, yes, government has tilted in favor of the red states, the same government that Trump would like to reduce or dismantle.
Yeah, what about education funds? I mean, because, again, so many leaders in these red states talk about, oh, it's socialism, and then they take money from blue states. The income redistribution goes that way. And they also complain about education. Oh, education, it's Washington, D.C.'s doing this, it's doing that. And yet, overwhelmingly, it's the red states that are the greatest beneficiary of education funding.
Exactly. So let's talk about two pieces of education funding. First, let's talk about Head Start. Head Start primarily benefits children in rural communities, lower income communities, and so forth. So it's not surprising that the top funded state under Head Start is Mississippi, which gets $56.84 per resident back. And you can see then it's West Virginia, it's Louisiana, it's Kentucky, it's Wyoming. Red state average, $22.42. Top blue state, Michigan, $25.77, is actually below the fifth red state, Wyoming, and the average is down here at $17.22. But what's important to know about this is a program that Project 2025 would kill. So the Republicans that are in effect proposing a policy that would actually hurt their constituents a good bit more than it would hurt the constituents of blue states. Another similar example of that is teachers. A lot of teachers' jobs in lower income areas are funded by what's called Title I. You can see here the largest percentage of teachers supported by Title I is Louisiana at 12%. But you've got Mississippi, you've got Alabama, you've got Florida, you've got New Mexico, Arizona, Nevada, swing states and red states principally benefiting. Once again, the Republicans would eliminate this funding, send it back to the states, say you deal with this problem, disproportionately hurting their own constituents.
Yeah, they want to get rid of Head Start, and some want to get rid of the Department of Education altogether. So, Steve, let's look at your final chart, which focuses on the Inflation Reduction Act, which we've heard Donald Trump and others rail against. How is it boosting investment?
So this is a program obviously mostly proposed by the Democrats. And it is, again, ironically, a program that would help has helped so far the red states more than the blue states. First, let's look at the IRA in general. The Inflation Reduction Act has sent, as you would expect, as we hoped, clean investment soaring. It's actually way above anything we thought was going to happen. Huge outpouring of investment in everything from wind farms to solar panels to home insulation to all the kinds of things that we hope will save energy. But look where the investment has come. And this is through a tax credit system. This is not bureaucrats sending the money there. This is kind of where the action is. And you can see in the red states, the amount of investment in this from the 2 years before IRA to the 2 years post-IRA has gone up 84%. 57 billion to 105. It's actually gone down in blue states. I'm not quite sure why, but it has. And so the vast beneficiaries of the IRA, which the Republicans have also tried to kill, are the red states.